Anyway, hello to those of you on YouTube. Once again, we come at you from the future, or probably a couple of days in the future. Uh, but I'll let you guys know if you guys want to go ahead and catch all of our reactions and everything that's going on, even mystery animes, because sometimes I just spin a wheel and wherever it lands, you have the ability to go ahead and see a mystery anime. This time, it was between Death Parade episode 2 and Love is War, and we went ahead and chose Death Parade episode number 2. If you guys want to go ahead and join us on Twitch, join us. It's every Friday and Sunday, and then sometimes throughout the week. Just gotta keep an eye on that. Sometimes I just go live and I'll watch an anime on there. I don't even put it on Discord. I'll just throw an anime on there and watch it. Hello, Mom. Hello, all the YouTubers out there. I hope you guys are ready. Future you, finish your writing. Yeah, AZ, finish your writing, please. And we'll go ahead and get started. All right, let's go ahead and go into it. Bro, they have like a whole system. Dang. Damn. Oh, are we back at like another person's place? As we knew in the first episode. Alright guys, I hate to stop it right there, but let me ask you guys. Would you guys be fair arbiters in that situation? Say that for some reason, right? Humans, in whatever regard you want to go ahead and call them, well, we're put in this position of power where you're a judge. Yeah. And every single time a person comes through, you get all of their memories. But what if you get someone you know? Not just necessarily someone you know, but say that like it's someone that like resembles something that you've gone through, memory-wise, collection-wise, something you've experienced, positive or negative. Do you feel that there's already a bias in that? Or do you feel as though as an arbiter, you should have your memories erased as well? It's a good point. Something good to point out, Well, how do you guys feel? Do you feel like do you feel like you should have your memories completely? Oh yeah, it's gonna be very difficult. I'm not gonna lie to you. It sounds difficult. Like even I'm thinking about it and I'm like, it's hard to say that anyone would be completely impartial and wouldn't let some sort of bias in. Oh. My dude got Bluetooth on him. I wonder, because it would develop. Right, exactly. So I wonder, especially with this individual here, with this girl, if there's a situation where they were truly neutral in their life, you know, what sort of or like where you like an arbiter couldn't exactly decide whether or not to send them like to heaven or hell, how they'd resolve that. If this is a way that they resolve like neutral souls, or people that were so like baseline the entire time that there was really like no need to go up or down, if that makes any sense. A coin flip essentially, but in a way of like, witnessing humanity or other aspects and seeing how they react to it, or 1,001 other scenarios that they could have gone ahead and done if this isn't just another one of those like shit tests. Because it's weird, all of like the arbiters have those like crosses in their eyes or this girl, this arbiter, I can already tell. So I wonder if any of those selections are completely randomized, like you know how like the screen right now was going through as though like I was selecting a game, or if it was already predetermined. And that whole aspect in a fucked up way, like even though they're like, yeah, we're trying to judge them fairly, actually brings out the worst in you because like you already know how someone's triggered, how someone's gonna react in certain situations. You're trying to bring that up without any like I don't know, without preparing someone. Granted, you are trying to judge someone's soul, but then here comes the question: how can you judge someone for being true if you don't give them time to prepare for how true they are? Right? It's like a kidna. It's like if you went to a kidna and the kidna is gonna decide from ReZero, for those of you that don't know, the kidna is gonna go ahead and decide whether or not you live or die, or whether or not you go to heaven or hell, based on her definition of what is true. That would be fucked up. Now, in a situation like this, right, or like the way that like she would therapize you, right, which is like sort of bring up all of your past, trigger you, so on and so forth. That is not necessarily based on if you're Amelia or not, or Subaru. You have to remember she did try to get his parents like up in there, but that's my point. Is like that is not a fair assessment, you know, right off the bat. What you're doing is you're literally triggering people to show the worst in them, even though you already know what their reactions are. Instead of like, instead of like, you know, and granted, they could still have the ability to take that time to breathe, to think, to so on and so forth. But if they know how to trigger them and they know exactly what buttons to push, it's not even a fair game. That's not a fair contest. It's not a fair playing field at all. It's like if I was your guys' therapist, right? Like all of you guys on stream, and then it's like, all right, let's play a game of like how to piss off another person. Whoever can piss off the most individuals or trigger them or make them cry wins. I'm pretty sure I'd have the upper hand because I already know a lot about what triggers the majority of you guys. You know? Oh, that's fucked up, dude. Okay. In any science field, this would be called extreme bias, like, you know, selection. If you're trying to sample just the darkest part of someone's soul or anything like that, you're already being extremely biased and you're basing yourself off of that reaction. That is so rough. Imagine if, okay, imagine that this one day Kraith decides to explode on everyone, right? And from that moment on, everyone only cared about that moment when Kraith exploded. I'm pretty sure a majority of you guys, yeah, just check their browser history. Pretty sure a majority of you guys would like be like, what? Like, you know, everyone has bad days. It's not necessarily like a good thing, you know. Everyone would have like a shitty like contention if someone triggered you. You're gonna say something stupid. You weren't prepared for that, you know. So that is such a weird selection process that it almost seems unfair, and it almost seems as though like even though they say the verdict isn't made until they bring out the darkest part of the soul, why? If either way they're gonna go to heaven or hell and be judged in that way as well. You know? Wow. It's not anger. If you say half correct, half correct. Yes, because you've induced it. Oh my gosh. This is like, if you want to talk about unethical, this is like one of the most unethical things to do. I think Echidna would be perfect for this if this is her mentality then. Damn. Yeah, this is rough, dude. Every time it hits, the noise it makes just triggers. Oh. Oh no, 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 no. But way back. That's the thing, is that So here's an interesting point to you guys, and I hate to be this guy. I hate to be this guy. But would you say that souls are deflationary in this world then? In nature. And then I'm gonna make a big point off of this that I think I found the hole in this universe. So do you think that's okay? Yeah. So if souls are deflationary in nature, wouldn't that mean that there's a scarcity of them? Then why would there be a big population boom from it? How do you like? How would they account for more people being born than people dying? Just throwing that out there. Yeah, like there has to be another way for them to go ahead and make souls in order to keep passing judgment like this, you know? Uh, but that's just like my big thing is like if this is the only form of explanation we get, that's a pretty rough form of explanation. It's good, but at the same time, like if you think about it, otherwise it wouldn't make sense. Yeah, because the more years that pass, the worse it's gonna be. But that's sort of human nature, and that's the sad part of this show. Is there a situation where both of them can go to like heaven or reincarnation? Still doesn't make it right though. I mean, hmm. Yeah, you already made your judgment, dude. You already made. Okay, dude. Bro, no. That's rough. Oof. And that's exactly it, Eldris. That's the point that I was bringing up. If you can't comprehend emotions, and if you're coming from a trigger standpoint, or a down, like a standpoint of like sympathy instead of empathy, can you really make judgments? Or are you just going to be sympathetic about it? My dude really took a look at her memories and was like, huh, she did sleep with someone. She's for the streets. Automatic, let's go down. I'm kidding. But with that in mind, you know, like, human emotions is so complex, right? And there's a good saying from it. It's like emotions change like the clouds in the sky, right? And sometimes those of you that are stoic, like I am for majority of the time, I wake up and like I'm like, you know, pretty much how I'm talking right now. I'm pretty much that same mood the entire time. Um, but that's the thing is like here, like, would you read? Because how can I explain this in the best way? Shakat. Yeah, there can be some bias, right? Automatically, but coming from a sympathetic nature, that's already a bias in of itself, right? Because if you're not able to empathize with these people and what they've gone through and understand the struggles that they're going through, as someone in a position of power, what makes you think that they understand it? Hell, a majority of the time we're confused by our own life cycles, by like single decisions. Sometimes we procrastinate on homework. And like we know we have to get it done, but yet there's so much emotion, anxiety, procrastination, anger, so on and so forth that comes out of like getting simple tasks done, you know? Now, imagine coming from a sympathetic standpoint where it's like you should have gotten that done. Why isn't it done? And then coming from an empathetic standpoint where it's like, all right, you've had a shitty day. You know, maybe you couldn't get that done because of A, B, and C. You haven't done self care. All right, so what steps did you take? All right, so because of that, say that you took your own life and you ended up here, and it's like that doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person. It just means that your environment, the situations we're in, were shitty. Big difference from it's your fault because you didn't get the assignment done to, hey, your environment wasn't the best, it wasn't suitable for you to your learning, you know? And to be honest, it's the number one struggle that like and I get in full on debates with teachers and stuff, right? Because I know a lot of teachers try and push that where it's like homework, where's your homework? I need your homework now by this date or whatever. Even university professors I've gotten in arguments with, uh, specifically over that, which is like a person's environment, what's happening in their lives revolves far more than just turning in an assignment. What if they don't have like internet? They go to the library. Okay, their dad uses their car. Their family uses their car. They don't have time. The only time that they have to use the car is when they come to school. And you start going through situations like this, and like you'll instantly see a lot of professors start backing up. They're like, they don't know what to do, and that's just with any sort of stigma like that. Or for like, you can even go as with work. Why were you late today? I should fire your ass for being like late today. Boom. Like that's a very sympathetic standpoint. Let's change it to an empathetic standpoint, where all of a sudden it's like, yeah, congratulations. I had to go drop off my mom at the hospital, or A, B, and C, or this happened. Doesn't necessarily have to be a bad scenario that happened. It could also be like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I actually, like, I forgot. I was running late. I had a really stressful day yesterday. Boom. Like, oh, yeah, no, no. Easy. Trust me. I've argued, like, over there and here as well. Like, I've gotten in full on arguments with the headmasters, principals, and stuff like that. Because there's a hard, like, disparity between what sympathetic teaching is versus what empathetic teaching is. Luckily, I was good enough to have a lot of empathetic professors, especially during my master's career, where it's like, hey, you didn't turn it in. Here, are you doing okay? What's going on? Hey, like, don't rush it. Take your time with it. Breathe. Take time for yourself. Practice some self care. And when you're ready, turn it in. It's okay. Just send me an email. 1,000 times more productive than like your deadline's coming up. Hey, remember your deadline. Hey, your deadline. Hey, this is worth 70% of your grade. Your deadline. Your deadline. This is like, yeah, it's a very, very rough thing. And like, I'm pretty sure it stresses you out. It causes you anxiety. You probably have a rough sleeping schedule in that regard, and so on and so forth. Like, you can continue this debate. Now, I'm using that as an example for this, right? If you're very sympathetic in nature and or like very down the line in nature, very follow the rules in nature, very whatever, you're missing out on so much flavor. On this is what we call it in psychology of flavor, on so much context, you know. Uh, and all of this context is truly what will decide whether or not you're a good or bad person, depending on your context of it. I think of people as in the gray scale. There's so much variation of gray, but there are some people that are bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. There are some people that are fantastic individuals. But that being said, if you just think of it as black and white, you're missing the gray, and there's a lot of gray in there to be able to determine that. So, yeah. Sorry, guys. Big rant.
あの男は他人を信用できない人間なのよ。幸せになんかなれるわけないじゃない。
Yeah, but where does this come from? Where does this root from? Bruh. Oh, dude, you were fine. You just were deciding people's fates.
これおかわりちょうだい。
かしこまりました。
Like, yeah, the more I think about it, the more the mannequins start to make sense. Like, maybe he's looking for what humanity is or emotions are. And like having all these like things, it's also a big symbolism for who humans are, which is sort of like a blank slate, and our emotions are truly what makes us come to life. Big talks, big philosophy talks, guys. Great talks. Let me see. Is there more? Or is this a preview? Oh, there's more, there's more, there's more. All right, guys. Yeah, maybe. I think that might be the whole purpose of it. The assistant is definitely going to go ahead and help him understand maybe emotions, maybe what it means to be human in that regard. I'm very excited. This is actually a very profound episode. Got very philosophical very quickly. Um, and I'm just happy to see where it goes. A lot of good animes, three good animes, like the set, each with different tones. I guess Love is War was really the theme for tonight. But anyway, um, YouTubers, I hope you guys have a great night. Practice some self care. For those of you here on Twitch, hey, we're about to play some Jackbox games real quick. I'm